Friends, we have made it live, and we are, in fact, here,
Yay.
finally. Welcome to the not so broken, not so defunct, totally not a retcon episode of Realm of Rivalry, episode 1. I'm going to start, in case anyone watched the last episode, why the hell are we doing a retcon? This might be, for those who've never played with me, I hate retcons more than almost anything. I rail against them every time I'm a player, and someone's like, "Oh, they changed one little thing," and then there's like this butterfly cascading effect where everyone's scratching their head, going, "But what if that changed? Then I wouldn't have reacted this way, and this guy wouldn't have died. So how's that work?"
Mm-hmm.
Where it works here is ultimately there were a number of assumptions made in my prep for episode 1 that quickly became unmantled or dismantled as we got to where we needed to. So I'm just gonna restart the whole thing because we didn't get that far, and this is a better / more interesting / more dramatic time. Let's go ahead and that was a good time. Let's start with introductions with Emily at the top left here. With the Ferrari France flag, as noted last time. So.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I will be playing Sir Evray of Benoit. And I totally have it together tonight.
Not at all falling apart. You
every technological thing has worked perfectly, without error.
As they normally do. All right, I have yet to run an episode 1 without a major failure on it, so it's just par for the course. You're good to go. Rebecca,
it was my turn.
Yeah. Rebecca, you're up.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I play Bowie of Kent, Evray's extremely loyal squire.
Yeah, totally loyal. Absolutely.
Extremely loyal. How dare you imply otherwise?
Yeah. We'll go to Nicole next.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm playing Sir Elian, formerly known as the Fairy Knight. And I'm trying to figure out how the real world works now. It's been a while.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. We're going to move on to our plot itself. Before we dive into actual vignettes and kind of start to take a look at our characters, I'll just explain what Realm of Rivalry is focused on. Very recently, King Uther Pendragon has fallen dead, along with the king in an entirely separate scenario, the Duke of Glevum, the very late and heroic Duke Eldol, who once rivaled all the other warlords on this island, lived to be past, rumors said, 100 years old, and survived the treacherous Night of Long Knives, the betrayal of the Saxons, by fighting his way out with a piece of wood. So he was a pretty prominent figure, but one thing he didn't do particularly well is figure out his right of a lineage properly. He left with him a whole bunch of ambitious family members chomping at the bit to get at the old man's former estate, and Realm of Rivalry is going to zoom in on that a little bit. But before it does, we're going to zoom in on some characters and some vignettes, and then we're going to get into the game proper. So, with that in mind, let's dive in. We're going to start in the kingdom of Escavalon, in the city of Caerleon. Getting some TV feedback, by the way. or someone's talking very closely in the background. One of the two things happen. So in Caerleon, the camera kind of zooms in. We see the wonderful coastal city in the beautiful kingdom in the mountains of Wales, currently known as Cambria in this area, or in this era. We see a lone knight riding. It is, in fact, Nicole's character. Do you want to tell us a bit about Sir Elian? Just the high level. Give us a descriptor of them, what they look like as we're riding. And don't give us the full skinny yet. We can dive into that later.
Yeah, so from afar you kind of just see she's tall for a woman, so a little around average height for a man. Maybe a little bit taller, but she's kind of slim. And she wears a silver armor to match her silver horse.
The armaments are, in fact, about... Ooh, we got someone joining us. Let's see who it is.
Unusual.
Hey, Joss with the most. Welcome. And we met our goal. Thank you, 160. I don't usually interrupt roleplay for that, but awesome. The armaments themselves, as noted from Sir Elian the last time we saw them, the armaments are a bit ahead of their time. So they stand out. They look foreign or strange. Most certainly from the mainland or something, right? You find yourself in Escavalon in the presence of a former familiar face, where you much look the same the last time you met. He has aged quite significantly. Give me a sec to grab his token.
What?
You find... Indeed. You find yourself calling for a private audience, but instead of a private audience, you end up standing before King Ninteliad and another man with long dark hair. Kind of acts, let's do like maybe an intrigue roll, or I'll accept a heraldry roll, one of the two.
She's great at both, which I mean she's great at neither.
Okay. Then pick your poison.
Her intrigue's a little better.
All right. You get the impression that this guy must be within Ninteliad's trusted, but you don't really have any further detail from that. We'll say that you're not really paying attention to the heraldry since you didn't choose to roll that, so we'll kind of go from there. How did you introduce yourself to get into this? Did you introduce yourself as who you are, or how did you get through Ninteliad's people to have this private audience?
I essentially say the truth, which is I'm Sir Elian of Brecon,
Okay.
and I've returned.
And
To
I'm just gonna crank you up a little bit, just with the whisper.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
And I've returned. Having completed my quest for the king.
Okay. You find an audience with Ninteliad. You can tick honest for that. And I'm going to give you a tick to trusting, I think, for that too.
Ooh.
the two do tend to pair together well, or terribly, one of the two. But you find yourself in front of Ninteliot. I think we described. I mean, obviously, it's been 16 years since last you saw him.
Yeah.
He was a teen.
It was at minimum 15 years.
Yeah. I think it's probably so. Aurelius himself wasn't king for all that long, so it was probably 16 or 17 years. So Aurelius was a warlord who conquered all of England before getting the High King, though that happened. But he himself only came over a few years before that. So it's been about 15 years. Last time you saw him, he looked a lot different. He was much younger, and I'm gonna just roll something for him. I'm just gonna pull up a sheet. Let's see. How trusting is he? 4. Okay, that's good.
I'm jaded over the years.
What happened to this man?
Poor lad.
Okay, and then the next thing I think I will do is a recognize roll, though. I'm going to give him a little bit of bonus on this one.
She looks the same.
Yeah. I think the way I'm going to interpret this is his suspicion is outweighing his ability to recall what you look like. And even though you look identical to the way you did before, his suspicion's going to yes, 100%. I think he's going to start with, and what sorcery is this? He turns to nod to the man beside him, who turns to sort of usher to the guards, who then stand in front of your exit.
Fairy sorcery, if you're referring to my age. I just came to provide this to prove that you didn't suspect wrong of me. And she holds up the. I think she was probably sent to catch a magic rabbit of some kind. And she's holding up the pelt.
Okay. I think it'd probably be something a little more mundane. If I recall, I think your quest was something more mundane, and then you found your way into something much more.
Yeah.
Right.
She's into fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was the tusk of a boar. I don't know.
You know what it could have been? I like it. I think Nantelian's father, Madrun, had caught wind of the infamous questing beast. And so you were sent out almost as a fool's errand to retrieve it. So you are, in fact, a bit empty-handed. But anyone that would expect you to, it's like, hey, go retrieve Bigfoot. Right? Do they exist in the first place?
She's like, I found a particularly large boar that ran into fairy. This must count.
Okay. And then I think I'm gonna get you to do a platonic love for Ninteliot, because you guys grew up relatively, you were friends, right? So
yeah, I mean, he stood up from her when she got in trouble for being a woman. So yeah.
Give me 2d6
like an
plus.
older brother, because there was a younger age gap.
Yeah, that's what I meant. A platonic. It was very much there isn't a friend's role. There's a love passion, right? But there's no friend's passion. Yeah. There's also loyalty, but I don't think he has loyalty to you. So give me a 2d6 plus 6.
Oh, 2d6 plus 6.
There you go. So
Ooh.
that would be kind of how your passion for him would have been. We're going to lower that to 10 now because it's been a long time and Faye is plaguing at you to care about anything here. So go ahead. You can add a love passion on your sheet for Ninteliot. And I think his is going to be high as well. So is for you is 14, and then I'm gonna age that down to like 10 as well, because well, things haven't you haven't really been around.
Been a while.
Yeah, he's moved on, and a lot has happened in his life that has nothing to do with you. So what do you want to do or say? Like, you can tell that he's not very convinced in the sense of he's still suspicious of this whole thing and what you're up to and why you're back now. And he asks why you're back now after all this time.
She has a moment where she's kind of taking this all in, and she remembers something he told her when she was before she was knighted. And he was kind of her mentor. Which was, he has his honor must be high, I'm imagining.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
He's famous for it.
Yeah, so I can't think of a good quote or way to motto it. But she would kind of quote what he said back to him and be like,
okay, so something he might remember that kind of
something
only
he's said to her before when he was her mentor. She was, because I've never forgot your teachings, that, and she repeats that back to him.
Okay.
I can't think of anything good at the moment.
That's fair. So I'm just gonna take a look here. You know, I don't think it's super important, but it's probably something more along the lines of like the caliber of the knight is based on their actions, not their words, right? Like,
yeah.
I think, okay, give me an honest test now. See how, or courtesy. I'll take either.
I think this is more just her being super honest.
Ooh. Okay.
Wow.
So that doesn't mean that you weren't honest. It just means it's not super convincing. To a man with 16 suspicious, that's not entirely impossible. I think he says, you've been well trained to say what you need to then, spy. But tell me, now, before I remove your head, who has sent you? And what sorcery is this? Is this Merlin's?
Does she know who Merlin is? I think she does. He's older.
Give me a recognize plus 10. Yes. And you can take recognize for that. I'll give it to you. Merlin, last you were aware, and this is kind of where we'll say that your whole scenario happened. He was working with Prince Uther. Something about stones that need to be retrieved from Ireland.
Nothing to do with her. She's never been to Ireland.
Yeah. Yep, that's all you know, though. So, Merlin is a bit of a folk hero in the lands of Cambria, because that's where he's said to have been from.
Yeah. She just kind of blinks at him and goes, "Is he not still looking for rocks in Ireland?"
Last he was seen, he was flaying with Prince Uther, or King Uther's child.
Right. Uther's king now. Or
No.
he was king.
Correct. He's like, he was, and
he was king to me for 5 seconds.
yeah, and Nanteliad will say, Uther was never High King. He never earned that right. He was the king of Logris. Here, in Escavalin, I am king. So you're seeing a little bit more ego in him than before, but you also imagine that this is partially because he doesn't know who you are, right? He's posturing against you like you're some spy of some sort.
Yeah. She's a little sad, but not super, because she's a little jaded herself.
Yeah.
And she just kind of bows and goes, "You may trust me or you may not. I only came to fulfill my promise to you and to your father. If you do not want me here, I have no intention of overstaying my welcome."
The man beside him whispers in Nanteliad's ear. Nanteliad looks at you. And he gives a nod. If it's true that you're Sir Elian, then you have an absent brother.
I take it he has not showed up then, since I've been gone.
Not even with your father's passing.
Does she know her father passed?
I think it'd be more interesting if you didn't.
Yeah, she looks up and she looks sad. She goes, "What?"
I think you knew he was. We'll make it a little easier. You knew he was ill. You didn't know he
ill,
passed.
but I knew he was elder.
Yeah.
Yes. A part of me hoped I would have been able to return before in order to say goodbye.
He doesn't really say one thing or the other to that. But he says, if you wish to fulfill your oath to my father, and you wish to restore my faith in you, that you are who you say you are, then I ask you to retrieve your brother for me. Bring him back. He is not to be knighted. He forsake that long ago. But even still, there is a manor waiting for him. It was his father's last wishes. Your father's last wishes.
I shall do my utmost to retrieve him.
Now, I think the case with this, just to set this right, and I'm not sure how. You know what? Test for. I think it's
no idea how she's going to do it.
Test for me. Love Nanteliad. All right.
I'm rolling great tonight. As always.
I'd like you to test modest as well.
Modest or honest?
Modest.
She is not very modest, so this should be great.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to write this for you. It's ultimately your character, but I'd like to suggest with those failures that your love Ninteliad goes down by 1, and that pride is getting in the way of understanding this man's suspicion towards you, and you almost feel more hurt and personally offended than maybe kind of being able to see past it and understand, like, he's probably been through some shit given his eyes, like, but your focus is, I don't know this guy anymore, or at least in this moment, that's how you're feeling. It's not to say you won't have a regret or won't have an opportunity to rethink it later.
Yeah, I think she logically knows that this makes sense because it's been more time for him, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
Because he was someone she looked up to. But, yeah.
When you're left with that pause, now you realize you haven't been here for a very long time. Which means you have no idea where your brother is. Would you like to inquire?
I don't want to inquire to Ninteliad.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like she's rolled too bad for that. She's like, I don't want to ask him.
Okay.
My pride is not going to let me do that.
I got an interesting piece.
Without having him doubt me.
So I don't think he's going to, like, proceed any further. He'll say, you have your charge. Once you've done so, we will count your duties to my father fulfilled, and your truth of who you say you are understood.
I thank you for giving me a chance once again to prove myself to you.
I want you to give me a courtesy to be able to, with the proud failure and the love failure, I think it's going to be a courtesy roll. Just to be able to...
Otherwise it's just going to come up as kind of tart.
Yeah. Oh! Alright. So we discussed this is something for the short mini-series. A crit means you can up it by 1 immediately and tick it again. Because we're not going through that many years. So just up it to 14.
It goes up 14?
And keep it, and then tick it as well.
Okay.
If it was already ticked prior, leave it ticked. Alright, as you're exiting, presumably with no friggin' idea of where to start, you see the man with dark hair that was whispering in the king's ear approach you. He's kind of like trying to catch up with your fast steps, and then when he gets a little close, he just kind of clears his throat, like politely to try and catch your attention.
Yeah, she'll slow down to a stop and look to him. She's not sure who he is, and she's not sure how to greet him.
Yeah.
She's not sure how he feels about her.
Yeah.
So she was giving some kind of advice to Ninteliad.
He says, Sir Knight, I apologize for not having proper introductions in there. Seems the king's war with Estragales has made him far more intolerant of niceties. My name is Sir Elaine. I'm from Caerleon.
For me?
Yeah. Do you one better?
Lovely. Elaine, okay.
In truth, it was my task to retrieve your brother before he... Well, until I convinced him to make it yours.
Thank you very much, I suppose. Did you have any luck finding any trace of him?
He smiles. Kind of. We believe that he resides somewhere within the county of Glevum. Though we don't know... Or sorry, he doesn't say county, he says the duchy of Glevum. Though he's not been sighted for a couple of years now. And with the succession tension between Duke Eldol's progeny, it makes it difficult for someone such as I, so attached to King Ninteliad's name, to go tracing about the lands to find him.
Luckily no one remembers me.
He smiles.
Yeah,
In truth,
she kind of says it the same way I did, where she's almost laughing.
The king has lost sleep. He's lost weight. He's worried about his borders. He was worried about them before Uther's death, and now there's trouble and disarray even to the east. I think it would be helpful for you to travel into the Duchy of Glevum to retrieve your brother and perhaps tell the king what else you might find. You can test like intrigue or suspicion here if you'd like.
My suspicion is barely better.
All right, you're ticking suspicious for this one. You
So
get
I take both suspicious and trusting. I don't know what that means.
these things happen. Yes, you might pass one and fail the other. You might pass both, and then your numbers fluctuate. You might fail both, and your numbers stay the same anyways. So it happens more often than you'd be surprised how often it happens. I think with the choosing the suspicious angle, what it means to me is that Alien is just, it's not a matter of intrigue for her. She just senses a bit of conniving, or there's something going on here. There's something up this guy's sleeve.
Yeah. He's a sir. She thinks it's kind of strange for a knight to give her this instruction.
Yeah.
Not a very knightly thing to do. And he had acknowledged her as a knight prior.
Mm-hmm. So keep in mind, I think what you'd probably feel a little like you're a high honor, yes?
My honor is... I need to get new glasses. Oh, yeah, it's 16.
16? Okay. So with an honor 16, you're famous for it. I think that's what's making you have a hard time with this right now. Is you're effectively... if you failed the suspicion roll, you would have trusted him. And as a result, there wouldn't be any worry. But instead, you're kind of getting the impression that he wants you to spy on foreign lands for him. Which most knights would do, to be honest, but those that hold honor in high regard would feel a little dirty about.
Yeah. She's kind of as she goes along, she's just trying to justify to herself, I'm not so much spying as I'm just making note of what I see. I'm still technically looking for my brother. I might notice things. That's fine. It's not like I'm looking.
See, I think that's where you're right. Like, this would not result in an honor loss to share what was seen if you're on a task. Now, this guy putting you on this task, that might be a little shady, right?
That's shady to her.
Yeah.
And she thinks he might want her to do more than that, but she's not gonna.
Okay.
Because he did not specifically tell her to do more than that. He just
Nope.
hinted at it.
Nope. And because you didn't get trusting, you're gonna miss over the part where he genuinely thinks that will work for King Ninteliad. So if you did like intrigue, you would have picked up on both sides. You would have picked up on, yes, he's asking you to kind of be a spy in a roundabout way that makes you not the culprit, nor he, nor Ninteliad. And at the same time, this will go over well with Ninteliad because he needs to know more about what's going on inside those borders. But you don't get that. Instead, you just get that he's asking you to do some shady stuff inside the borders. So, but nothing, super terrible. Just spying, basically. So, makes sense?
Yeah. He's definitely someone to watch out for, because he might not always say exactly what he means.
There you go. Do you want a suspicious Sir Elaine as a directed trait so that you're more suspicious of him when you meet him in the future?
Sure.
Okay, just give me a d6 roll.
Two.
All right.
Which is not terribly suspicious.
Yeah. So it adds to your already suspicious of 10 when you'll see it in your directed traits in a second. Okay. It's right under Valorous on your personality traits now.
Okay.
Perfect. So now when you roll specifically suspicious towards him, you are slightly more. And if your suspicious rides up, let's say your suspicious goes to 13, it'll be 15 for him. So it is like it's a modifier, an ongoing modifier. All right.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to do while you're in, specifically, you're really far from your home still, like you don't really have time to ride back to your manor, and you kind of get the impression that your manor is not yours anyways right now, like it's probably being held by one of the king's men.
Castles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now she's riding over to what's it called? Glevum?
Yeah, the Duchy of Glevum.
Yeah, she might stop at some places she knows her brother would have made a habit of visiting, at least when she was still there.
Okay.
She's familiar with his habits.
Okay.
What he likes to do. I mean, she doesn't like it that he does it, but
Right. So you're looking for like one of those sort of on the road way houses that he might have spent some time at.
yeah.
Yeah.
She sticks out like a sore thumb, but
Okay.
she's used to that now.
And so I have named your brother, by the way. I don't know if you caught that. His name is Emmerich. All right. So, real quick, we're gonna kind of do that way house thing. I'm gonna get you to test 3 skills or 3 things, and then based on these 3 things, see how you do. You're going to test intrigue. You're going to test love family. And you're going to test, I had it a second ago. It was one of the traits. What was it? Energetic. That's what it was.
It's a failure on intrigue, which pretty much matches with how she's been doing.
Okay.
But she succeeded on love and energetic.
So this is all taking place like in the summer of 495, by the way, and you spend a couple of weeks roaming between the lands of Caircolin, Fort Gwent, and then into Glevum proper. From there, there's actually a city known as Glevum, right here. Do I got you on the right map? I do. So Glevum's here. So you spend time roaming these lands. You end up learning that this person, your brother, was apparently part of a Christmas court in Glevum 2 years ago, where they accompanied someone that appeared like their patron, and you get a description for her.
I have a feeling Olwen and Beatrice know who this is.
Maybe. But they're not part of this story, so who knows?
They're not part of this. I just
Yeah.
see them reacting.
Yeah.
Alien doesn't know this.
They're just probably guessing. Okay, so with that, we're gonna kind of pause you, and we're gonna have. Would you likely go in pursuit of those rumors to Glevum to fish
Yes.
around for your brother? Okay. We're going to change to another place. Emily, Rebecca,
Hi.
question for the two of you. There was a great muster in 495 for the Battle of St. Albans. Did you participate in said battle? In the small contingent of warriors that went from Summerland to fight against the Saxons who were threatening all of Logres.
Was that around the time that the Mudlands fight was
It
happening?
was 1 year later,
Okay.
one winter after.
I don't know. I suppose that would have been up to a fray.
So, as a mercenary knight without a lot of glory, battles are the best way in this era for
Yeah, that's what I was about to.
glory. Yeah.
I was like, probably.
Okay.
It seems like something we would do.
Bowie is
We're pretty much
happy,
sword for
Rebecca
hire at
is-
this point.
All right. I'm gonna just
Oh, boy.
quickly look something up. And you're totally fine. Don't worry about this roll. It's not gonna have any negative.
I don't know
effects.
any
Oh
background.
yeah, you
to
guys
this,
died
by the way.
actually. He can leave the stream, come up with
Yeah.
another
Wow, you died off
character
screen.
real quick.
That's some Call of Cthulhu shit right there. Wow, you died before the game even started. Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, I've had games like that.
Like I said, the first time I ever ran, I ran the New York episode of Massive Naharlathotep, and 5 seconds into the game, I shit you not, 5 seconds, one roll was made, the players decided to kick in a door, player got critted and killed.
Yeah.
Literally like less than a minute of time of gameplay before one player died. So that's it. Luckily we came prepared and had 3 characters prepped for that session 1.
Thank
So,
goodness.
yeah.
That's what you have to do with Call of Cthulhu. Anyway,
yeah. An aside. It's always a fun aside.
okay.
And I was buying
I
myself
just have
time.
to check myself because, I have the tendency to just be like,
I get it. I get it. It's good to do. Sorry, I'm
Let's
just
Go
looking.
to war.
You are, yes, you are.
let's all go to war, you guys.
Woo.
Can we go? Can we please go? Oh, I'd love to go.
I feel like that's how it happened. I feel based on the relationship between Everett and Bowie, Bowie's like, that sounds fantastic.
I mean,
And
you're a
Everett's like, "Yeah, I
mercenary
guess."
knight. You need to gain glory so that I can gain and prove that I deserve to be knighted. I mean,
I was about to say, aren't you hitting a point that
I'm so
you should be
close.
looking for your own glory?
I'm still your squire.
And that is a problem. So we're gonna start with a roll first. This is gonna be Every's roll.
Rebecca,
Without
please don't kill me.
no, this is yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Without being
May I
impassioned,
please-
roll Every's battle.
Sure. May I
Every's
please
battle's
have
pretty high.
access to the sheet, please?
You do.
Find out all of my deep dark secrets, Rebecca.
Oh, like you haven't told me already.
Sure.
I have access to Beatrice, not to Ivray.
Oh, good point.
Wait, you don't know all those secrets. Get off that sheet.
Ow! Try to give up SpongeBob and Patrick just with their
I
eyes
don't
on the
actually
map.
have any secrets written in that sheet, so. Oh god.
Secrets,
Get
you mean
off
all the
that
things we
thing.
do above screen, yeah, above table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let me just add.
Oh, was
I
this?
think Beatrice still has a couple of
a
things that she hasn't told Owen. I think Beatrice has some secrets at this point.
secret.
All right.
Oh, just loading.
Can you open
It's a
it?
battle.
Yep. So just that.
Indeed.
Don't fumble
Oh.
it, Rebecca.
I critted, Emily.
All right.
Oh, you just scared
So
the
that
ever-loving
means-
crap out of me. This is so scary.
Okay.
Your fate in my
I'm
hands.
never letting this happen again. I'm so scared.
So that means
Without-
their battle goes up.
Nope. Yes, but
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead and do that too. Yep. Every will have a battle 16 and a tick in battle. And then, without being impassioned, pick Every's best weapon skill and roll it with modifiers from step 1. So with a critical, there's no penalty to your weapon skill roll.
but it doesn't have any
sword.
modifier at all.
The modifier
Yeah,
is
sword.
0, which is
Okay.
the best you can do. A fumble would have been minus 20 to the weapon skill roll. So.
Woo! That's a success, baby.
All right. So with a success, roll 2d6 for me. Did you hear me?
Yes. 7.
Okay. Every took, not counting his armor, so not using the armor absorption, Every leaves the battle with 7 wounds, which is better than most of St. Albans. St. Albans was a complete shit show.
It was bad.
Started with Prince Matic leading the charge. Things went pretty good under him against, but it was kind of like a bit of a trick by the Saxons. King Octa of the Saxons ended up luring in some ambitious Matic folk, and they ended up, a whole bunch of them died on the way in. Uther showed up out of nowhere, fought heroically apparently, and
I think that's where Gaiden died.
yeah, a whole bunch of people died, in short. And then on top of that, as you were healing and being wounded, you had to flee St. Albans because there was a massacre. A whole bunch of people in the highest of the highs in Logris were all poisoned at once.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Indeed. Heard one of the hot twins died.
The last bit, let me just find it. Where the hell is it? I think with the critical, you stayed in the whole time. So your glory is going to be One sec.
That's my sire.
One sec.
Woo!
No, every you
Oh,
end up.
hello?
Yeah, you end up with 960 glory from that.
Added?
Yep.
Or total?
Added. That's glory this game would be where that goes.
Yeah. Somebody doesn't have their glory input.
This is me we're talking about. Are you surprised?
As a mercenary knight, he probably had like exactly 1,000 glory before. So
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
yeah. Plus a little bit of skirmishing. No, we'll cross that now. So we're gonna give him a starting glory of 1,000 plus
Did he get any glory for
the raid,
Lord?
and then plus the Mudlord. Yeah, that's a good point. So we're just gonna give him that. 1510 is what he was at prior. So 1510 should be his current glory, and then 960 should be glory this game.
I have it.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna start a scene with the two of you leaving. Now it's not just you. You're leaving with your brothers, Every's brothers. So you're riding back through Silchester on your way to Gentian, which is where your brothers' homelands are, and that's where you intend to rest and heal with those wounds. It's actually really hard to ride with wounds. It's like very terrible. There's actually mechanics on it, but we'll gloss over them for now.
Riding is terrible in general.
And here are your brothers. Oh, the second one didn't work. But there's your brother,
Couldn't it?
Earthkey. And
Kerwin.
Kerwin.
Sorry, say those a little bit louder. I'm so sorry.
Earthkey and
Earthkey.
Kerwin. I'll type them for you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
I was gonna say for riding, doing the old like
Oh, they're hot. Oh. Bowie.
like laying all the way forward, like when you're riding, we're like
Yeah.
you just hit a point.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's probably laying. If he's wounded, he is laying.
Making me so nervous riding like that. The horses are definitely going to turn on you.
So
They
I
only
think.
turn on you.
Hold on, we're not in
Rude.
role play moment
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I just don't want to get ahead of it. Rebecca. But the two of you end up riding. You've got Earthkey, Kerwin, and a number of people. So you're choosing not to return with the Summerlanders right now because you really don't have a home per se. Rumor had it that the lady that of Barrowcrest, not the one you know, Olwyn, but the actual lady of Barrowcrest died there as well. So
Let's not be the one to give that information.
So the two of you end up, it's kind of like a solemn ride back. You're going through the lands of Silchester right now, and you're making your way up to Gentian. You can see kind of in the past and up ahead. So the time will skip forward a little bit, and it's not long before you end up at your manor. Now, have we named his manor yet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question. Pick a name between 1 and 10. Pick a number between 1 and 10. I'll give you the name.
I was like, all right.
Jeremy.
3.
Hollyvale.
Huh.
That
Like
sounds adorable.
So this is land that your father won by following Aurelius to the mainland in his march,
Okay.
right? So you left Aquitaine with you left separately, right? But your father left Aquitaine, and as a result, like his house now resides here on the mainland, but he's fallen. So it now fell to your brother Earthgi. So Sir Earthgi is your the vassal knight of your family. Sir Kerwin is the bachelor knight in service to him, you know, the spare as it is. And then you had no armament or not enough armament and not a good enough horse. You had to go find your own. Your calling was actually meant to be of the cloth. Like you should have been a spare, or you should have been of the cloth. You should have been religious. I think you chose purposely not to do so, especially with everything in turmoil. You chose your opportunity to be squired and then knighted from there. That's kind of the background of Every. For Bowie, you're gonna want to make a. What's your first aid?
it's not bad. Good.
Okay.
10.
Okay. I'll give you the choice. You can patch up Every as his squire, and you're rolling a d20 against a 21, so it's like a d20 plus 1. But obviously you get no ticks in anything that way. Or you can patch him up with first aid, and if you succeed, you get a tick in first aid.
I'll go for first aid.
You want to
Why
unpassion
not?
yourself?
Yeah.
What are you going to use?
Oh, honor, I think. Success on my honor roll. So adding 5 to my first aid roll.
There you go.
That's a success, baby.
Okay, you can tick first aid. Okay, so basically, like some time's gonna pass, probably a few weeks. Sir Every will get back 1 from Bowie's first aid, and then
Yay.
what is Every's healing rate?
Healing rate is 3.
3. So Every gets back 4 missing health total before the next scene. Okay. Anything in particular, Every or Bowie, you wanted to do while you're here, real quick, before we jump into the next little vignette with you?
I don't think that Bowie has anything in particular. Like this is Avray's home. Doesn't know it all too well. He's just watching over Avray and making sure that his needs are taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tending to the horses.
Everybody's probably focusing on healing for the most part, but he would probably make sure that armor at least attempts to get mended, like that kind of stuff. Tries to care for horses. He's like the worst sick person, essentially. Like the worst wounded person. He's like feeding horses. He's like making sure horses are okay. He's like trying to mend armor. Like,
Oh my god. Bowie sees you
being a
taking care
little
of the
too proactive.
horses and is like simultaneously like, thank God I don't have to do it, but also like, wait a minute, you're hurt. Go back to bed.
Go back. Okay.
Go back.
Just gonna check one thing here. We got a nice little map of the barons. I don't. Not exactly. So we'll have to wing it for now.
Goodness.
I don't know where that is. But the long short of it is, anything you wanted to actually like have a conversation with, or anything I need to not blow over here for you, Emily?
He probably would have gone over with his brothers what happened, but I don't think it's something where like he's getting super in depth with them.
Hmm.
Because I assume he's for the most part kind of just been on his own with Bowie. But I think he would have been sure to discuss with his brothers what happened, so that they're all on the same page. And probably confided them to an extent about it.
Which part, when you say what happened, any particular point standing out for you more? Like what is Every's peril?
So Every's going over what happened in the battle and the fact that it was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably seeing if his oldest brother, so that would be Erskine, has more ideas on what had happened at the massacre, because he wasn't at the massacre, so he doesn't know.
Okay.
His brother actually has the title or like the lands, so there's a better chance that he's heard more.
What we know right now is that King Uther and a great many of his most noble of knights have passed. There are many rumors, but I believe it to be... who would he believe it to be? I'll roll a d10 here real quick.
It's like a big like 5 options or big 3 options where it's like
there's a basically everyone who is like on the shit list.
So there's like Merlin.
Yeah, you got it. That's one. Yeah. Yep, those are 2 of them.
Salisbury, possibly the Irish. Who knows?
No, Salisbury is just on your guys' shit list, not on the proper shit list. So this guy in particular, he's like I've never trusted the sorcery of Lady Igraine's beauty. I believe it to be the downfall of Duke Eldol. And now I believe it to be the fall of Uther.
You believe it was the lady?
No. I believe it to be that little witch. The one who sees more than she ought to.
Which one would that be?
I believe her name is Morgan.
In my travels, I've met a few. This is an odd place, but You believe she had something to do with it. Do we know how they all were killed?
It was blamed on the butler, Sir Duncan. I want to make sure I got that name right. One sec.
It's always the butler.
Yep. Sir, Diocanar. Sir Diocanar. They say that he was seen exiting. I'm getting it wrong here. Mott's on top, right? Mott and Bailey. Mott is the top part. You got that right? Think so? The Bailey.
I think so.
One of those two. The castle part. Hold on, I'm gonna look that up because it's gonna drive me nuts otherwise. The Mott is surrounded by an area of land. The Bailey, yeah.
Right.
So
Mott and Moat, yeah.
Moat's different than a Mott, though.
No, I know that's
Moat's the
mnemonic
actual water
device.
barrier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Mott, like, basically, he says, Sir Diocanar, the royal butler, was seen leaving the Mott just moments before the screaming happened. But others say they saw him drinking away in the Bailey amongst all the other knights and having never left.
That doesn't sound right.
I would agree.
So what will you do now? The king is dead.
I know, brother, that we can't afford to keep you here. We have not the room for a third night. And, like, I think you would know that. Like, they can't afford your keep, so to speak. Extra food for the horse, extra food for all that. And no king on top of it. So things are about to get really ugly. What he says is, but I'd ask that you come with me now. You're still from Gentian. Well, as much as I am anyways. We're meeting with other nobles. With the barons that remain. Will you join me in Sparrowhawk Castle?
Most definitely. Don't worry about the keep. Bowie and I will find our way well enough. I wouldn't expect it of you.
He'll nod to you. You can just test love family, because it's like, this is probably a better moment than you've had with your brothers, maybe since you were, like, young.
Yeah. Rebecca.
Oh, yeah.
Can you test my love family, please?
I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, my tech is doing great tonight, if anyone was wondering.
You have passed.
All right.
So it's a good moment. Like it's a like solid brotherly.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna do the like
Clasp
grab
with
of the
that.
shoulder.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Clasp with the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then if his brother is done, then he'll leave and go back to trying to do tasks that he's not well enough to do.
Sounds good. Yeah. How's Bowie feel about that?
Oh, not happy in the slightest. his health is kind of on me. So I need him because I like him as a squire, and also I need him as a squire. As if he dies before the night, that's bad for me. That's very bad for me.
So
he's trying and probably failing to get him back into bed.
Okay. Why don't you do like a energetic and first aid test for me, Bowie?
You got it, buddy.
You're rolling for me could get me back into bed.
Every's a lot of work. Being a squire is a lot of work.
Everybody's just like hobbling.
It's so hard, you guys.
And on top of that, the third roll, you're gonna give me a modest roll.
Okay. Energetic success.
I like to believe his brothers are watching, being like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Modest.
Because like they know him.
Success. And first aid.
Awesome.
Critical.
Okay, with that critical, 6 health will be restored before.
Yeah.
So you look after. Basically, Bowie doesn't give you a chance to respond. To hurt yourself further before. By the time you're leaving out for this, does that put Every at full?
He's back to full. Yep.
Okay. And with that first aid, no, we'll say that gets noticed. So because you succeeded at 2 and critted at 1, one of Every's brothers. Got a couple of things I want to talk about, but we'll go first with
Redkey?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm running over multiple thoughts at the same time.
All the timelines.
Not allowed to think.
Yeah, it's a fucking moment. But Earthkey, yeah, before that, okay, so just explaining your 3 rules there. Energetic means you're able to keep on top of Every, which is difficult. You know, Every's trying to constantly probably do something useful rather than being bedridden. And so you're having to basically catch him. There's all these like cutscenes of like you and like he gets up and you're like back to bed, you know? And like
there's like a Scooby-Doo montage of us like going into different doors.
Yeah. like just multiple days of you having to send Every back to bed, and it pays off by you're not being done. You treating the wound, and then I think for Modest, now this is a really important one, so I do want you to tick Modest in this case. So what happens is watching Every gain all that glory in Albans, fight as he did, and assist him, but end up with none of it. End up with no name or recognition. All those spears that you had readied at the perfect time when the other one broke. You know, the time he was wounded and you were able to heal the wound. It's enough to make someone jealous. Especially coming here and realizing you're 21 years old. You're too old for this shit. Like, you should be a knight this year. And if you're not, you risk being an esquire forever. But your modesty wins out. And you're able to push past your pride and realize, like, you know, trust in this being more important than your own ego in this.
Right.
I don't know. You made the modest character. Don't ask me.
One day. One day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. British Christian, right? Yeah.
British Christian modesty.
Pretty sure, funny enough, the Roman Christians don't have modest. I think it's the one they're lacking. So,
you don't say.
Yeah. So, explaining that, At some point, Earthkey approaches Bowie like on the last couple of days and says, I paid witness to you over these last few weeks, nursing my brother. How old are you now?
21.
I happen to be on good terms with the Baron of Sparrowhawk. If you'd like, I could mention your name.
Oh, that would be most appreciated. But only if it's not, out of your way or anything.
He'll say, hardly. You've looked after a brother of mine. It's more than most can say. And you've done a good job at it. I've seen it firsthand.
Doesn't make it easy, but I think part of me likes the challenge.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna pause that for a second. And do one other thing. I was gonna let you know that you'll have to think a little bit about that. We'll get to that. But I won't spoil that. It'll be fun. How's everyone doing time-wise? Got about 20 minutes? Maybe slightly longer?
Oh, yeah.
I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Keep it down. Keep it down, Mr. Rogers. Wait, that's a different Rogers. I was going for Captain America, but wound up with the neighbor. Let's wait. So
a neighbor.
The neighbor. We're gonna cut back briefly to we're gonna cut back to Elian entering Glevum proper. And we're gonna go to this map and show these things. So just to keep a map, because I know we say lots of names and they all sound like foreign places that don't really exist anymore.
Half of them are.
Alien is reached. That's not a token. One sec. That's a token.
Yes. Okay.
So Sir Elian has reached Glevum. How would... So as you approach, you realize that, strangely enough, there seems to be festivities in the summer here. I guess it's not altogether rare, but given all the turmoil that's happening everywhere and the rumors of war and death of kings and battles you've personally seen and the tension, it seems a little strange to see any sort of celebration here.
What kind of celebration does it seem to be?
They seem to be putting together some sort of summer fair. So this would be like a Christianized attempt to do like a solstice
Easter?
festival.
Easter?
No, we're further in, so more like summer solstice. So, like if you think about the timing of like Canada Day or the 4th of July, they are awfully close to the solstice. There's lots of those type of midsummer celebrations. So that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
conspiracy.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any saints' days in midsummer, if I recall. So
Elian wouldn't know if there were or not.
yeah, you are paying. Yeah, as far as you're aware, this is probably a solstice festival. Except for it seems a little strange. A lot more well, it's lacking everything pagan that you're familiar with. That's for sure. No, yeah, none of the sort of pagan decorations or carvings or anything of the sort are here.
Lots of fish being grilled, meats on open flames.
Right.
It's in a lot of the games that you do for the pagan stuff. Like it's a ritual part, but it feels like a game.
Yeah. So one thing that's happened in Christian history, or just any history where a religion expands, is it enculturates, like, is that the right word? It incorporates or encultures.
Appropriate?
Yeah, appropriates. That's the appropriate term. That's the most modern take on it. But they take on or enculture things that happen elsewhere.
What the fuck?
What? We almost lost it. We almost lost the camera.
I can't hear you.
Cat
by the way,
attack.
Emily.
So my cat in full form. This is the cat that took out the cameras.
And
For anyone who's seen this before, twice before on my computer, this is my phone. He just took the whole thing down. So
That'll-
Percy's talented.
keeping up the tradition.
Good Percy boy.
Okay, so back to Elian
yeah.
here.
But, fun note.
This looks like they've 100%
actually-
just made, a pagan festival, like a Christian conversion version of it.
They took out the fun.
Yeah,
They watered it down.
it is the great value brand of the pagan festival you're used to.
No. Oh, fun note. There's actually letters from the Pope at the time to the missionaries in Britain and other places where he specifically tells them to, like, for Christmas. Technically, it was the solstice thing, and he was like, "Yeah, just tell them it's their birthday.
Yeah.
Just be like, 'cause they had so many gods. They're like, okay, sure, you'll celebrate with us."
We actually had one of our other streams, we had a pagan player that played a pagan. He ended up talking to a Christian priest at one point. And the priest referred to the Holy Spirit. He's like, right, the big one.
The big one.
Yeah.
I love Gorachek so much. He deserved better anyway.
Yeah. Many deserve better than that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just Gorachek.
Okay, let's carry on. Elian, what do you want to do here in this case? How are you going to go about searching for this news of your brother?
Well, usually he's going to be in the midst of a party or a performance, but this place looks pretty bland. So, when we were younger, at least, maybe things have changed. This wouldn't have really been a scene.
Okay.
But I guess you'll look and see if there's any performer.
Okay. I will give you 3 tests in turn. You may do energetic again, awareness, and love family. It's pretty noisy.
Oh.
My energetic was a crit. And
Up to 14 it goes, and keep it ticked. Okay.
I'm annoyed with him.
Awesome.
Very annoyed with him right now.
Yeah, you don't have to lower that. We're not going to make you lower that one. But you are annoyed with him. I mean, literally, you're lucky he loves you. You love him this much. Like, he's run away from his duties. Your father all but disowned him. You probably talked your father into, like, not outright disowning him. It kind of led to your whole life. If you really wanted to pass the blame to him, you might not, though, because you do still love him. But I think what this is you chase down several, like, street performers. Like, you hear music following dead end, and you get super annoyed. You spend most of the day, and then you see nobles entering the castle, like the castle proper. and you realize that there's going to be a feast to top off. So it's almost evening. Like, you spent probably 5 hours roaming Glevum looking for your brother. Glevum is, by the way, one of, I think it's like top 3 largest cities, if I remember from the books. So it's like one of the bigger cities right now, which is funny.
Great. She feels like she's looking for a needle in a haystack.
Mm-hmm. This is modern day Gloucester, I think.
Gloucester.
Gloucester, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we say that, or is it? Yeah, I know Pennsylvanians say that, but is that how they say it in England too? Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's some really good cheese from there.
I've heard Gloucester.
I figured that's just how people from Massachusetts say those things. So,
Gloucester.
Yeah.
Just get rid of everything in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
just make a random noise, and they're like, "Yeah, that's how you say."
Yeah.
I thought that was Welsh.
Look at Worcester.
the
That's all I'm
Westlands.
saying.
Yeah.
Worcester,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Would Elian find her? I mean, you fit the bill. This would be like showing up a little bit to a feast you're not necessarily invited for, but it's not uncommon for hedge knights to do this sort of thing. Just probably gonna apply you a penalty where you'll be seated.
Does she think that Emmerich might find himself there?
Well, certainly, I think to sweeten the pot, you heard that he was at a Christmas festival here previously, and you do hear music inside.
Yeah, she's gonna make her way in there. She doesn't especially care where she's seated as long as she's able to get at the minstrels.
Okay.
Performers.
Perfect. Okay. So just for amusement, please test your appearance roll -7.
No.
-7.
Yeah. Why -7? Because no one knows who you are.
Oh, hunty.
Okay. That's not the worst it could be. To be honest.
Yeah. 16. That's a failure.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so you're gonna be below the salt, which is probably about what you expected.
Yeah.
At the same time as Sir Elian is reaching Glevum, give me 1 second. We have Bowie and Every. Bowie and Every, which I'm just adding to the chart here. Dang it. I'm gonna add these to the sheets. It's gonna make my life easier.
Yep.
I'm still gonna have to resize that. It's okay. There's Bowie. And then
Bowie.
Just gonna grab Every here. Do the same thing. It's just easier than doing it another way, so pardon the wait.
Hey, I get to look at the cool art.
Indeed. Sorry, every of Benoit.
Wow.
And
Giggle every time I hear the name.
why? What's the reference? What am I missing?
I'm missing it too. I have no idea.
I do not want to explain it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, then don't say it.
Message it to me.
I'm sorry. Thought I was dealing with cultured people.
You're good. Cultured? It doesn't
There's
sound...
certain type of...
With that laugh, it doesn't sound like a cultured reference, but fair enough.
I'll just say, y'all know me.
Yeah.
So...
Past my intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Critics.
Sex thing.
So, Bowie and Every are in Gentian. Sir Elian is in Glevum. And we are going to do some feasting in Gentian and Gloucester separately. So it's going to behave much like a standard feast. Except for, well, you're going to be in different places. So we're going to bounce each round. We're just going to bounce between the two places. That's all. But it'll behave otherwise just like one feast. So we're going to start with, we're going to send Bowie over to Gentian. And we're going to send Elian over to Gloucester. Let me know if that worked. We should both see like a feast.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Perfect.
I had to move both the character sheets, but I do.
That's fair. Okay, so we're gonna put Bowie and Every here. And we're gonna put Elian here. Oh, still don't have the token added to Elian. One sec. Save myself the grief and do it now. Let's try that again. Take 2. Elian and Gloucester. So Elian, we know will be below the salt. We don't know where the other two are going to be seated.
Bowie is on the floor.
Oh yes, we do.
Due to being a squire.
That's true. Why don't we roll for Every to see where Every will go? I'll give Every an appearance +2 because of his recent glory.
You Gaia buddy. He needs it.
Ouch.
Oh, didn't matter.
Oh, buddy.
Roll.
What was it?
Roll another d20 just against appearance.
So just
was
roll
it?
appearance again
Fumble.
with no modifier.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
No modifier this time. Oh.
I can't even blame
Join
myself
me
for
on
really
the
bad.
floor.
Yeah.
You got me on the floor, Rebecca? I thought I finally got out off of the floor.
Yeah.
Because I've been on the floor in every other game.
Let me just check. I can't remember if on the floor
Actually,
if you have
it's
to fumble
probably
twice.
below the salt. Yeah.
It does make sense for Everett, though. He's a social mess. So
I'm like, why can't I find it? I'm looking at the wrong book. Book of Feasts.
I thought I had escaped it. Rebecca, I thought I had made it off the floor.
Okay, roll app again. This time treating a fumble as a simple failure, and take a seat one position further down from the spot by the second roll. Okay, yeah. So the second roll -1, a failure would be below the salt, so a fumble is on the floor. You are on the floor. I'm gonna say this is a matter where like a number of Gentian knights show up, and they're like, "Who is this?" Is like, "This is Sir Every of Benoit. He's the brother of them." It's like loyal to Gentian, and they're like, "No," and it's like, "Well, we've asked the mercenaries to kindly stand."
Yeah. I find a corner.
Yeah. Good times. All right. And with that, before we do just a short 2-round feast, oh, what's up?
This is an odd question. Rebecca, what is my proud versus my
Ooh,
Oh.
that is a good
where
question.
does that sit?
You're proud.
Am I more proud or humble?
You are up between modest and
Even
proud.
keel. Okay.
Even split. 10 versus 10.
So I'm gonna say he doesn't say anything, but he feels slighted. He's sulking in a corner.
Sounds good. And you are suffering from, so Bowie, you're suffering from -1 geniality, well, for being on the floor, period. But when you come here as a result of a fumble, it's -2 geniality around. So there will be no glory gained, I don't think, for this feast. But it is only 2 rounds worth you're missing out on, and it's a good story. It'll be a good time.
It really is.
All right, we're gonna put it take like a 3-minute break. I gotta fill up a water bottle, and then we'll do this 2-round feast, and we'll close it not long after the 2-round feast. So,
Alrighty.
thanks for being patient, guys. See you soon. All right, gang, we are back. All right, so let's dive in. It looks like I'm on the every Bowie scene first, judging by how it looks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to complete those and then move over to Nicole. So we're going to go round for round. All three of you will get an action, just like a normal feast per round. So it's not really that odd. It'd be like running 2 combat simultaneously, right? And just going through it in one initiative order. That's kind of what we're doing. So we're going to start. Every's still the higher glory character, even if he's completely shamed in this moment. Just as a note, and I realize now that Emily can't see this stuff. Emily, there are only other... your brothers are here, both of them. There are a number of nobles which don't have any tokens. There is one priestly looking dude, clearly by the symbol of the Christian faith, and another guy with a purple and or shield, purple and gold, with bull horns on it, which after I made it, realized it just basically looks like the Minnesota Vikings shield. So, which I'm okay with because it's my favorite
with that
football
very
team.
specific. Yeah,
right.
It's like the helmet.
It totally does.
Yeah, and the hair.
Yeah, impressively, and that was randomly rolled, so I didn't even make that up. That was a good time. And so I put my favorite football team into meta, and you can't blame me for it. So,
yeah.
All right. So you're both on the floor. You're suffering from a -2 geniality, but you are still a knight, so you can still choose to roll on or pull the feast stack if you want. You just don't have a seat, so that has to be factored in. You can choose to feast stack. You can choose to intrigue. You can choose to game. You can choose to be indulgent or temperate.
So we have 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
Okay. I'm gonna intrigue it, I think. He's going to lurk.
Okay.
And just kind of see what...
Anything in particular you're looking for? Any particular rumors?
It would... I would have... Oh. This is gonna take all my turns. He ideally would have asked his brother what the objective was going here.
Okay. You can do that ahead of time. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
There's no role required for that. Are you asking just Earthkey?
Yeah, I mean, Earthkey seems like he's in charge.
Yeah.
The eldest brother seems like he's mostly...
Earthkey isn't entirely certain what the beating is being called for, other than it seems to be a gathering of the nobles of Gentian, of the county of Gentian. So it's likely like,
Yep.
We have no... So Gentian, has no count. Very few places have a count or an earl or a king. They have, like many of the lands of Logris, the county is really just divided into baronies or what was formerly royal land. I think so. He would explain that it's being hosted by the Baron of Sparrowhawk.
Okay. Then I think the objective for intriguing would be to find said Baron and or just keep an ear out for anyone that knows why we're there, why we're all there.
Okay. Why don't you test intrigue, and we'll go. So this is where it gets less fun. So you have intrigue of 0 right now, like +0 modifier right now, but it will be a -2 next round. If you might be able to counteract some of it, like if you succeed at intrigue with a +1, you might end up with -1 geniality rather than -2 geniality.
Yeah.
But you are It's going to be a
Okay.
tough feast for you. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just want to pull a card because I've never been allowed to before.
You're welcome to if you'd rather try that.
That's my round to my knowledge at this point.
Okay.
So
Okay, perfect.
I'm a
Just
intrigue it.
give me a
Roll
flat
intrigue?
intrigue roll, Rebecca.
You got it, buddy.
My favorite role.
It's flat. It's not -1.
It's not
Or
yet.
-2?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay, got
Yeah.
you.
After this round, those penalties start to kick in.
We'll see if intrigue likes me today.
You passed. 4 of
Oh, it does.
14.
All right. So you find the Baron of Sparrowhawk. It takes you a few moments to kind of lurk, as you noted, to discover like who it is, because you don't know them by name and you don't necessarily know them by heraldry. So it's not exactly the easiest thing to find. But you find Sir Drew.
Okay.
He is like a bit of a grizzled man, but quite fit. A bit bushy in the eyebrows and facial hair. Dark brown hair. Definitely built for battle. Definitely seasoned warrior sort.
How a very specific question. How large is the gap in status between the two of us?
A
Because,
baron
like,
and a mercenary knight, so it's
pretty big.
significant, but you're not like a peasant. You're
Like,
still
I
a
can't
knight.
just like walk up to this dude and it be socially okay.
If you weren't seated on the floor,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna wallflower the heck out of it and
Okay.
just listen into the conversations. And see what I can find out.
Okay.
Listening to his conversations rather than, just walking up to him.
Okay. So you see him talking with another man. Make a recognize roll as you approach.
Ooh. Ooh. I know that one's low. I don't even need to know on the sheet. I know it's low.
You passed with 3 of 4, baby.
All right.
So-
That's less than 5, so it's an automatic tick. Yeah, that one is an automatic tick. And 1 second here. The other man seems to notice you approaching and sort of takes a moment to cut off what they're talking about. They were talking about you overhear something about 100 called Milkfield,
No!
and you see
Wait. Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
the county of Milkfield. The knight turns to you and he says, "Well met, Sir Knight. I'm Sir Loof."
Oh, god damn it. Okay. Every will because he's wallflowering, so he's kind of just like has a drink and is just pacing or finding places to hide. So he'll put out his hand to Sir Everave Benoit. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He nods. Indeed, Benoit. Quite far away from here. Aquitaine, yes?
Yes, originally my family has lands out here now.
Oh,
They go
yes.
to my elder brother.
I thought I recognized that heraldry. You're Earthge's brother.
Yes.
Ah.
The third.
Well and
Okay.
good, well and good.
He kind of like there's because I'm remembering how
Hmm.
low his courtesy is. So there definitely is a very awkward like
Yeah. Mhm.
where he kind of just doesn't say anything.
And I think when you say Earthge's brother,
Ooh,
Sir
honey.
Sir Drew speaks up and says, "Oh, Earthge's brother. Yes, Sir Earthge. A good and loyal knight."
I appreciate the compliment to him. I know well deserved. He's a good man.
Wait, you're not the brother that was so successful in Albans, were you?
I am. Yes.
I see. Well, where are you seated?
I'm not, unfortunately, today.
You're. Are you standing? We will have none of our vassal and bachelor knights standing amongst the crowd. So this is where you find yourself a bit stuck because you are not a bachelor or vassal knight. You are a mercenary knight right now.
My honor's high.
You want
Dang
this?
it. No.
You want honor versus
Hello.
proud?
I mean, no, I think based on whoever he is, he's just gonna say it. Every will kind of sigh and he'll nod his head for a second and he'll say, I have not gotten the profound honor to be either of those things. I remain a mercenary knight.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've not had that opportunity. If things weren't so crammed, we would most certainly find a seat for you. I will ask the servants to be on the lookout should there be any seats made. You know, you get that whole when you're on the airline
Yeah.
and you're not going to get a good seat. You know, they're like, we'll look out for a seat change. It's like, is someone going to disappear off the plane halfway through? Like,
Yeah.
how am I gonna get this like later on? Please explain that to me. You're getting that vibe, yeah.
I appreciate
Spirit
the effort,
Airlines.
but I assure you that I have no problem standing.
Good to hear. Well, I see you've met Loof. Though he holds lands in the county of Salisbury, he is one of my vassals.
I don't believe I've met anyone from Salisbury quite yet.
Loof says, well, you have now.
I've found myself a little. I found myself in Summerland and some other parts, on and off. Been a traveling.
There's
Trying.
a wolfish smile from Sir Loof. He says, oh, have you now?
Yes, I fought twice in Summerland. Once while they were raided, and again in full-on battle.
I have very many dear friends in Summerlin.
Would I know any of them?
Perhaps, yes. Rebecca, help me out. Your aunt's name.
Melior.
Melior.
Yeah. Have you met Lady Melior?
I helped get her out of the thing. Yes, I have had the pleasure. She was some of who we had to keep safe from the raids.
Are you referring to Lady Melior was in Barrowcrest Manor during those raids, if I recall her writings.
Yes.
So you visited. My condolences on the late lady. She was a wonderful person. But I think that place will be well looked after under the stewardship of her heir, Lady Olwyn. If she can keep it.
She seems a capable woman.
Indeed.
I believe that I was gonna roll something, but I believe that she will be fine. She seems to do well enough on her own, and I've met some of the people advising her, and I have no complaints of any of them.
Very well. Well, if there's one thing I can say about Lady Olwyn, she is very independent.
I would believe that to be true from the interactions I had with her. She's got some impressive knights on her guard as well.
Ooh, what's he gonna think about that? Give me an
His
no. You
interaction
passed. You
was
passed your
vaguely-
You passed your intrigue test. So even though hey, welcome by Vancouver by night. Good to have you. Even though you're referring to other knights, Cadrigan was once in service to Sir Loof. And you can tell there's a little bit of a stifled, like a forced smile. Something, you bruised him a little bit there with something.
Yeah, and Everett doesn't know the whole, so.
Yeah, exactly. So you just
no
left.
idea.
You just left a little confused with it, but
Yep.
We'll end it there maybe, and I'm gonna go ahead.
I'll go back to wallflowering.
I think that was good enough. I'm gonna offset, so you're gonna be at a 0 geniality for that round. So even though you didn't crit, I think it was well role played. So
Thank you.
we shall go to Bowie for round 1.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, I gotta choose a thing.
Yes, you do. Need me to run through the options?
Oh, let's see. Depending on like what we're eating, I imagine that I'd be very temperate, and I think Bowie's hell. Ooh, the keensis and stewed in wine, delicious. I think Bowie's just going to be try to be temperate and enjoy his time, and just kind of look around for the first round of the feast.
I have a proposal for you.
Goodness.
And the proposal is that we've already established that this feast is way busier than way busier than they intended. Like they intended to. They have way more seats full than they intended, and thus their food is not able to keep up with everyone. So passing your temperate score means being a good squire and feeding but going short yourself.
Yep.
Okay. So just the condition of the temperate there is you yourself will be foregoing or suffering a bit, fasting a bit.
It's fine.
In a good way. Like it's literally not different than any other time you do it. It's just it adds to the squire sense. So let's go ahead and test.
And like there's a little bit in the back of his mind being like, we're in the place that Earthkey said he knows someone. If I look extra good,
right?
It's not fully altruistic, but come on, that's a success, baby.
Okay. All right. So you go about that will net you a 0 geniality as well for the round. -1 +1.
Yeah.
Offset each other. So I think what this means is every ends up fed. You're gonna end up not. I'm gonna give you a generous tick.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you can tick temperate as well. So,
Oh yes. Mhm.
all right.
Oh yes.
With that, we're going to give you one more test, an awareness test, to see if you overhear something.
Lovely. Probably not. We'll test it. That's a failure.
You hear a
13
couple of
8.
people talking about a recent skirmish. You miss all the other details, and they clam up when they see you kind of like paying attention.
He does the thing where he very clearly was
Yeah.
paying attention, but that
Yeah.
portrait.
Yeah, there's the porpoise. Yeah.
Yes, peas.
Yeah. Just what I was looking for. All right.
Stirs it around and wanders away.
Okay, so we go to the county of Glevum. And for Elian, I want you to start by testing Heraldry +5 immediately. Okay.
I succeeded.
That would have been a crit, if not +5, yes?
Yes.
I do +5.
Okay. So you can tick it. I'll give you the tick on it. And we'll treat it like a crit this particular time. So you recognize...
Heraldry is a 3.
Yes, yeah. So it would have been a 3 versus a 3, which would have been a crit. So you can tick Heraldry. And you recognize the heraldry of the lady of the house, not because of her, but because of the bear. So it's one side of presumably what you notice. And here's what you notice in general in this. You notice that in this particular, most of the people here are wearing red. They're wearing something in their colors that seem to reflect red, even if their banners in their own heraldry doesn't reflect red. And you notice, like, at the head, one of the ladies that seems to be being paid to the absolute most attention at this feast is the Lady Helly, which is you're going to assume is a relative of Duke Eldol, because the late old Duke, because the heraldry is so close to his. His was basically red and green, cut in half with the bear over the top of it. Hers is just the bear over red. And you notice there's a few people here, a minority, and they're almost like ostracized a bit, wearing green.
Okay. Yeah. Green is in the other half of the old Duke's heraldry.
So now we go to your first turn. You are below the salt, but that gives you the act to kind of do anything. You can pick from the feast deck. You can intrigue. You can be temperate, which let's see what your feast looks like. That's your foods: almond omelet, Haldrick almond, meat jelly, and hippocris. You can choose to be temperate or indulgent. Temperate is like making sure it's kind of like fasting and making sure everyone else is looked after. Indulgent is being such a good sort of guest that you're eating and drinking and making merry in a positive way. You can game.
Does it help that she's not currently all that interested in food?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
Mortal food is. Eh.
So what would you like to do this round?
So she's more concerned with looking for the minstrels and seeing if she recognizes someone who looks like they're her brother but older.
Understood.
Because she hasn't seen him for a long time.
Very well.
So is that going to be a awareness?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an awareness test this time through. You know what it is actually? A recognize plus 10.
Oh, okay.
Hell yes.
Okay. Another tick. So sadly, your brother is not here. It's like that's what you know. You roam the whole place. You go to there's a troubadour group. They're not here, and you feel it sink in that this almost feels like trying to chase down a needle in a haystack. You know, you're like, how am I gonna find my brother? Like, you know what I mean?
It's like I'm looking for the questing beast all over again.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of your last waste of time. And I think at this point, this man here clears his throat and says, Sir Knight?
Greetings.
Oh, a dame. My apologies. They are rare here.
I do prefer sir. It was how I was originally knighted.
Ah, I see. Fair enough. He looks confused, if that makes sense. He just looks a little confused by that.
He's just not used to being called dame.
Totally, yeah. I did that on purpose, so you're good. Yeah. Well, I noticed you were without heraldic lines and thought I would introduce myself.
My name is Sir Elian, formerly of Asclavon.
Escavalon. I see. Formerly. Are you a mercenary knight?
I apparently have been gone for a very long time without me too, so I don't like the idea of it. I don't identify as a mercenary knight, although I suppose at the moment I qualify.
He's gonna take that completely wrong. I understand. I myself spent time fighting offshores. Most recently against the Franks, fighting with Prince Matic. Pity that, the way it ended. Having to reclaim lands of Rome only to give up and turn back and wind up here. And now they say even the prince is dead. My name is Sir Robert.
R-O-B-E-R-T?
Nope, R-O-B-A-T. Welcome to
Okay.
Kimrick. Yeah, I was either that or robot.
Robot.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Robot. It just sounds like I have
I'm gonna
a speech in R impediment, but it's okay.
So Robot.
Yeah, so a pleasure to meet you.
Have you met the Lady Helly?
I have not, although she does seem to be the star of the feast at the moment.
Indeed. And she is the only living child of Duke Eldol, the war hero, and the best man I ever knew.
I'm sorry for your loss. A lady much like him? Okay, good. The cat got the door right herself.
Yeah.
He says, quite much so. The best of his kin. And the true heir to Glevum.
And I hope the rumors of the turmoil here are false.
Indeed. He doesn't elaborate on that. He smiles and he'll lead you to Helly, and we'll
She
kind of
doesn't expect him to.
Yeah. We'll make Helly around too then, I think, for you if you're okay with that.
Yeah, she wants to. Oh, one last bit.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the Solstice Festival here is quite different than the last time I've attended one in this general area. Has there been a change of faith here?
It's important after so much time under the Duke, the old Duke, that Glevum adjusts to its rightful new leader. And what better way than offering the people a chance to celebrate, even amongst all the chaos. We've lost our king and our prince this year. But it does not mean we need to dwell. We must move forward.
Very understandable. I'm sure we'll further endear the new lady to the people.
Awesome. And then he'll kind of like usher you on, and at that point we'll say that you're going to end up with Lady Helly, but we're going to bounce back just so we keep in good time. We're going to go to round 2 back at the other feast. And we go back to Every.
I'm gonna pull a card.
Okay. Hold on one sec. Let me do one
I've
thing.
never got to do it before. I want to do it once.
There you
Let's
I don't know
go,
what my next piece will be.
baby.
You should be able to just... Oh, right. Here, I'll do it for you.
I'm sorry, I picked the
alright.
hardest to do.
I see the feast deck, but
It's something...
How picking a card works for me.
Yeah, I'll get to you there when that happens, and you'll actually be able to kind of hear about it right now. Here, I can even drag you over. So a lady departs. A lady is preparing to leave the feast, and you may escort her to her chambers.
yeah, right?
Yeah, you can make a courtesy test. Or you are supposed to make a courtesy test. Success, the lady thanks you for your kindness. Gain 1 glory skill. Gain 1 glory.
It had to be a
and
courtesy
tick the
test.
courtesy skill. Critical success, you may roll lustful versus your chaste. On a success, you depart with her. Roll on childbirth this winter. So your odds of you critting are obviously not super high. So
they're low as all get out. All right.
This is you know what this card is?
4.
This card is to catch like a Goro trick. So it's like if you have lustful 16 plus, which he wasn't. To be fair, he was only 14 at the end. But it'd be mandatory. You'd have to take this card. If you had 3 cards in your choice, when you get higher glory, like when you get 2,000 plus glory, you can start to pick extra cards. You'd have to take this one if you're lustful. So it's kind of like a trick card. It's not that it's not that great.
So it's my only option though. So like I have to do this one.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
You
mean
ready,
roll
baby?
the courtesy, I guess. I have like a 4 in courtesy, so this is probably not going to go positively.
It's a 5. And you failed it.
It's a 5 and you failed. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
That's fine.
luckily
It's
there's
awkward.
no
Big
penalty for
detriment if
failing.
there's
Yeah.
fail. Yeah.
I can see possibilities.
I like walk her there and she's
You're just like,
yeah,
she's like, oh, I'm leaving, and you're like, well,
I can
Bye.
escort you. She's like, no.
She's like, yeah, it's like you get a little bit of the way, and she's like, oh, you're a mercenary knight. I can see my way.
Close people comment.
Yeah. Well, I think mercenary knights are just a little. They don't have their loyalty assigned anywhere, so they also don't.
Mhm.
They're like they're like most people without that. It's like they could be foreign, they could be dangerous, that sort of thing.
I mean,
Foreign to
one of those is
what they're
true.
familiar with.
Both of them could be true.
I think you're quite dangerous.
Hey.
I'm super dangerous for sure.
I mean, I saw you on the Battle of Albans.
Okay.
But yeah,
Back
okay.
in the character stuff.
Goodness.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and
Goodness.
shuffle this, and it's Bowie's turn.
All right. Well, I think Bowie will try to hang around and see if he's probably bored. So bored on the floor. He needs excitement, and he's just gonna wander around and try to see what he can overhear.
Is this an intrigue action then?
It's an intrigue action, yes.
Okay.
He's not looking for anything in particular, just what can I find out?
Give me your intrigue roll.
It is a success.
All right. I think you get another shot at that. You end up hearing about. You end up hearing those same two people that were talking earlier, and it's like they hush, so that you're in a perfect position where you get to overhear what they're talking about again. It sounds like there was a bit of a bloody skirmish between the county of Glevum and the county of Clarence, which are both the Duchy of Glevum last year. It's why they didn't attend St. Albans, and the Gentian, being a neighbor of Clarence, is quite concerned with what that means for their border. So it's like Gentian is pretty protected. They got Silchester on one side. They've got more Logris to the north and south. The most destabilized area they have right now, it sounds like, is this the risk of a civil war in Glevum.
Hey, intriguing.
And as you hear about that skirmish, kind of like right behind you, you don't even notice them. You feel like a withered hand touch your shoulder, and you turn. You turn to see the old priest-looking fellow with fancy garb. He says, "Hello there, my son."
Greetings, my lord.
There is only one lord. I am but a simple servant. If you must, you may call me Baron Cadfael.
Baron Cadfael. Pleasure to meet you.
Indeed, I couldn't help but notice that you are fasting. Is this a fast for the Lord?
One could say that in a sense by making his more powerful warriors eat, and me going without. It is strengthening my resolve while strengthening the warriors of the county. People far more important than I
Please
need to keep up their strength.
test spiritual. See if you believe your own bullshit.
I don't believe.
See if you bullshit well enough that you believe.
No,
Yeah.
that's a different
Like
one.
you
This is
yourself start believing.
you've already
I mean,
rolled a
it's-
successful intrigue. So.
Yeah, it's even, so bare failure.
Okay. You may tick worldly and deceitful. The Baron Cat file says, well, we're always looking for honest and true, humble servants of the Lord. You are one of these knight squires, is that true?
That is true.
How old are you, my boy?
I am of 21 years.
And if I might ask, who do you squire for?
I serve, and like he straightens up, and it's like he's so proud of it.
Yeah.
I am in service to Sir Rivalry of Benoit.
I see. That is Earthge's youngest brother, yes?
Indeed.
And I don't know if that's true, by the way. I need to go back through I can't remember. Yeah. It's the youngest one we have portrayed here. I know you have two older brothers.
Yes.
I don't remember that. Very well. Is he... where is he housed in Gentian? Or is he a bachelor knight elsewhere?
He is a mercenary knight. He says with some not disdain, but like I've already lied to this guy once. I don't need to do it again.
Therein presents a great problem, I see. Pity to have such a temperate squire. Well, I hope you the best.
He's worth quite a bit more than most give him credit, and one day people will see him.
You know,
Oh,
aging
yes.
out of being a squire and becoming an esquire for your future isn't such a bad thing. There are many, many who are left with such.
Yes, quite indeed.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best, Bowie the Temperate.
Many thanks, Baron Cadfile.
Bowie's like, fuck this shit.
I'll fucking kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him. He's gonna die in his sleep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know there's another complication to as much as you're eager to get knighthood, whoever knights you, you owe them fealty.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I'm a displaced knight.
And yeah, if you had if you're in Salisbury and you got knighted by Roderick, then you owe your fealty to Roderick, right? Typically, knights don't knight other knights. But that might become a complicated web in the Days of Anarchy, where there might not be another choice or another king. So we're gonna play that out and see where it goes. But I think it's fun. It's another consideration. So if one of these barons did knight you, you'd owe them fealty probably. Like they wouldn't do it for free. So it's just that other piece.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of end this particular feast and move to the end of the other one in a minute. But in this feast, we have the Baron Drew stands up and explains. We have an invitation to a great gathering in the county of Clarence. As we know, there's been turmoil within Glevum, I'm looking for volunteers to represent. To represent Gentian, the county of Gentian, and Earthkey's real quick to stand up, and
yeah.
he says,
Bowie's eyes immediately fucking dart. Of course.
I think Every's just getting back into the hall after attempting to escort that lady, and he hears Earthkey say, "My brothers and I will do it." You've just been volunteered. You're muted.
Oh no,
Yeah.
tiny one.
Yeah.
He like winces.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, now I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. We go to Sir Elian, who's just hit round 2, and actually is collecting a little bit of geniality because below the salt and passes still result in 1. Because you're not on the floor. You end up in an opportunity through this Sir Robert to meet Lady Helly.
Hi.
A female knight.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you, my lady.
Likewise. I heard rumors of one that once rode with Merlin. Did you know her? It's like I met a Canadian once. You know who that is? It's like, yeah.
Can I see if it's something that I would remember? Or did it happen recently?
Well, very well. Oh, now I must ask. I see no heraldry. Where are you from? Where do you hail from?
I'm originally from Escavalon.
Ah, I see. King Ninteliad, yes?
It is currently ruled by King Ninteliad.
Well, Ninteliad is an honorable man. One that
Very
my father, my late father, spoke highly of. In fact, I had the opportunity to meet Ninteliad just a couple of years ago now.
Elian looks kind of proud at that because
Right.
she is still kind of fond of Ninteliad.
Mm.
Just fond memories of him. We've been he's with my friend for a very long time, something of a mentor to me when I approached knighthood.
I see. Well, it's good for him to stay in friendship with younger knights. Because, I mean, like, you're basically like, hey, we're best buds with a 42-year-old or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, okay, well, that's cool. Like,
Never mind, technically,
yeah.
you're only, like,
Yeah.
what is it, 8 years apart?
Yeah, right. It's not that far, but, like, then you're piecing
And
together
15
the
years
15-year absence. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah. I was like, well, nevertheless, I'm sure you come here for a reason. Are you speaking on official business of the king? I see no banners. Do you carry a message?
No, I'm on a minor errand for him. There is a lord who passed, and his heir has not appeared. I'm sent to find him.
Well, that's a rare sight, an heir that avoids their duty, rather than... Typically, they're ambitious.
Yeah, Emmerich is a special duck.
You know him.
He is my brother.
I see. Do
They look
you...
quite similar. Have you met him?
I might have.
He looks like me, but a male.
I meet a great many. Who's to really say? But am I looking for? Was he knighted? And how might I find him?
No, he was a musician.
She kind of screws up her face at that and says, "I see.
Yeah,
That's like
really
such a
usual.
not noble thing to go do, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
So
She looks very kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
To admit that. Emmerich never really cared for what was expected of him.
I want you to make a love family roll.
Oh, fantastic. She did not do well last time. She's quite annoyed with him.
Right.
Oh,
hey, look at that. So it's back. It's at 14 now. And you may take it. At this point, she says, come to... actually, sorry. I forgot to say that. You may do orate plus 15. To describe your brother in a way in which... Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And that will be your skill for this check, so you can take that as well. She says, now that you mention it, and I'm thinking in terms of a musician and not a knight, one of my good friends had taken upon her entourage a traveling musician. Is he older, maybe in his 30s or 40s?
She does a quick math and goes, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Well then, I think I know where you might find him. You'll be looking for... I want to get the name right, because I think I just mixed it up.
She's a little concerned about entourage and what that might entail. Because again, he's a bit of a rake.
Yeah.
She's not just like, is there a double entendre here?
I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Lady Maleri. She has land not far from Clarence. If I understand well, she should be on her way to attend a great gathering in the county, where important matters are going to be decided.
Is that Meleri?
Yeah. But while you're here, feel free to partake in anything we have to offer. It is our very best.
Thank you much for your hospitality, my lady.
It's my honor. Well met, Sir Knight. And with that, you're going to have 2 geniality, so that's going to convert to 20 glory for you, Nicole. So you add 20 glory to your current glory this game in the sheet, which is at the top right.
20 glory.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all like a battle. correct. But over time, it nickels and dimes to be quite a bit. Also, not being below the salt helps a lot. So that would have probably been 60 glory, not 20, for example. So with that, folks, we will wrap as basically everyone ends up converging on the county of Clarence in the city of Corinium.
Hell yeah.
All right. I hope everyone had fun. Thinks it was longer than I expected. We had some technical difficulties and I was late up front doing some last minute prep. That was a redo. If you're confused again, chiming in, that's a redo of our first episode. Didn't like the first episode the first time through. Felt a little janky. Didn't feel like a good start. This time through felt a lot more fun and a lot more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any thoughts from the three of you before we do our outros?
I want Loof dead.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But like regarding this episode, yeah, I think it went a lot a lot better than the last one. I think, like you said, it felt more, authentic. Nobody was really like, shoved into a weird spot.
Yeah.
It makes sense for our characters to show up in Glevum now as opposed to just, this is the story we wanted to tell, so...
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't even mind. So, like, if I were to explain what it was, I was under the understanding that Ellion had swore fealty to Olwen in my mind, but it was just a promise of, like, loyalty to Beatrice, I think is what it was. So, going back to the fealty and homage mechanics, if you owed fealty to Olwen, you'd owe homage to King Cadwy and his son, Prince Mois. So that was the thought. And then when I realized that didn't happen that way, I was like, oh no, that's bad. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was knighted by her father's name.
Yeah, an Intelliad?
She was
Modron.
knighted by an Intelliad's father.
Yeah, Modron. Yeah.
So technically the king she was sworn fealty is dead, and she's not entirely sure if Intelliad is now she was fealty or not.
Right. Okay, let's do some quick outros. Emily, you got anything you want to add or shout out?
Nope.
Okay.
So, I'm Emily. I played Sir Everett Benoit, and this was super fun. I'm super glad we played.
Awesome. Thanks for showing up despite all the technical difficulties.
I am so sorry.
No, it's all good. It's not, you didn't force it. It happens.
You had a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Hello, I'm Rebecca, and I played Bowie DeKent, a raised, loyal, and ambitious squire. Join our Discord, follow the channel, come hang out. Bob plays a lot of cool things. He runs a lot of really great things. I'm in a couple things run by some of our Sunday players, and it's a lot of fun. So check out the Sunday game because that one is also good. That's all I got.
Nicole, any shout outs from you? It can be anything.
No, just, check out some more Bob stuff. They're all fun.
Awesome.
And I played Sir Ellion Knight.
Right. I think I'm not going to shout out any of our stuff. We do enough shout outs to our stuff, and you can find that through all the other things. I think this time I'm just going to shout out the Oath of Endosteel by AP Gaming Rail. It's like one of my favorite streams about knights in the Battletech universe in some distant future that feels like the 1980s version of the future, because that's when the books were written and they honor that. So there's not really there's not really like mobile phones or anything we understood for technology, but yet there's like spaceships and all sorts of other things. So and giant walking killing machine mechs. But the political side of that game feels like the TV show Succession. So you can check him out at AP Gaming Reel. He's also been a guest on one of our fellow shows on Sunday. Check out his stuff. And that's all I got. We can wrap it up there. Stay tuned or join us again next Tuesday. You can tell I'm getting tired. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
11:11, make a wish.
Uh,
Bye.